Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this week's practice. The orientation for practice today will be quite simple, just this opportunity to create and then exist within space without needing to fill that space with anything, let alone anything specific. So we're really just going to work with this concept of spaciousness and the sometimes uncomfortable lack of something to fill the space with. The filling usually comes with wanting something to hold on to and craving something to have certainty about. Spaciousness feels very much like void or unknown. So we're working in essence with the unknown, which will require moving away from control in the direction of trust in the specific context of space, the element of space. Okay, are you ready to lay down, sir? Can you lay down? I have hand lotion on. Biggest mistake because he thinks I'm a treat. Okay. If you don't lay down, I have to put you outside. I know you don't like that. Go lay down. Lay down. Are you sure? You good? There you go. And there. All right. Let's go ahead and start on our backs. And rather than Shavasana with everything relatively contained, instead, let your body take up some space. So maybe the arms come out from the shoulders a bit more, the legs come wider than mat width. And rather than trying to be contained or confined, already start to play with taking up space. Once you get settled into this physical posture, begin to shift your orientation toward your breath. And the breath will continue to be diaphragmatic, but we're also going to invite the air to fill the upper portion of the lungs. With an emphasis on inhale. So that doesn't necessarily mean that the inhale is longer or bigger than exhale. We're just paying a little bit more attention to this experience of breathing in, creating space, and allowing the exhale to occur naturally, intuitively. About a minute more of this, and as you're breathing, paying special attention to the inhale, begin to consider your relationship with space, particularly empty space. Do you have a conditioned need to fill the space? Do you feel a lack of space, spaciousness? Do you feel as though you are constantly constricted, constrained? Maybe there's a lack not only of physical space, but space in the sense of time as well. And are you ready and willing to just play with expanding a bit? If you do feel ready and willing, then begin to stretch into the body a bit more. Try to reach to the outer limits of the space in which the body is held, reaching through the fingertips, through the tips of the toes, feeling into the skin and the space beyond it. And then curl yourself into a little ball. Draw the thighs in toward the belly, chin toward the chest. On the next inhale, expand physically with the breath, energetically, reaching out in every direction. And on exhale, curl back into that ball. A few more times. Inhale, reach, stretch, whatever that looks like, however that feels. And exhale, curl back in again. 2 more times. Curl back into that ball one last time. Stay there for a few breaths. And in this contracted expression, consider the space which is inherently yours. Consider any restrictions that you place on the way that you're allowed to experience your own space. And consider whether you're ready to lift some of those restrictions and allow for a little more freedom, perhaps a little more exploration and play. One more in-breath, and on the out-breath, melt back into that space. Just be for a moment. Floating effortlessly in the space that was given to you at birth. To do with what you will. Moving in whatever way you'd like. Somehow come onto your hands and your knees. Let's move through cow and cat a few times. Inhale, lift the crown and the tail. Exhale, round the spine. 3 more times, moving at your own pace. Exploring how you want to move through space. On the next inhale, lift again into cow. Stay in cow on the exhale. Create a little bit more spaciousness with inhale. Again, stay for the exhale. 2 more breaths, building space with each inhale. And then sustaining that space with exhale. Once more. Inhale, hinge forward. Keep that little back bend. Exhale, lower the chest and the chin, so you're maintaining that little back bend. On the next inhale, slide through to cobra. Exhale, lower, bring your right cheek to the mat. Inhale, come back to cobra. Exhale, lower, left cheek to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower, right cheek to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower, left cheek to the mat. Inhale to cobra. On the exhale, lift your hands off the mat. Reach the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lift through the sternum. Exhale, lift the legs. One more inhale. Exhale, release the legs, release the chest, release the arms, right cheek to the mat. Just breathe. Invite spaciousness into the points of contraction, most likely along the back side of the body. Maybe the tender space between the shoulder blades at the back side of the heart. Maybe the back side of the belly. Left cheek to the mat for a few more breaths. Good. Bring the head back to neutral, hands into the shoulders. Inhale, lift back up to the hands and the knees. Exhale, just pause a moment. We're going to play with the breath in a slightly unorthodox way. We're going to inhale back to child's pose. So we're putting our body in a position of contraction, and we're going to press against that contraction to try to create a little bit more space by way of the breath as we do. So when you're ready to inhale, draw the hips back to child's pose. Exhale, return to the hands and knees. Play with that a few more times. Inhale to draw back. Exhale, back to the hands and knees. 2 or 3 more times at your own pace. Once more, inhale back to child's pose and stay in child's pose for the next exhale. Rest here a moment. Good. Slide the hands back, sit back on your heels. Let's bring the fingertips onto the shoulders and start to take the elbows around in circles back and down. When you're ready, switch directions. Good. Drop the shoulder blades and then pull the shoulders out to the side. Try to bring your rib cage right over your pelvis. Shoulders resting right on top of the ribs. Lengthen up through the back of the neck. Release the hands down. And then inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands back behind you. Let the fingertips point forward. Put a little bit of weight onto the hands. Inhale, press the hips forward gently. And exhale, lower back down. 3 or 4 more times. Inhale, press the hips forward, lift through the sternum, keep the back of the neck long and stable. And exhale, melt back down. 2 more. Come to Virasana, just rest here, long spine. Inhale and sweep the arms overhead. I'm going to let somebody in from the waiting room. On the exhale, bring your left hand down and stretch your right hand up and over. So a little bit of a lateral stretch. Then we'll go back and forth, side to side a few times. Inhale, reach the left arm up. Exhale, right hand down, left arm up and over. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, stretch over. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, stretch over. We'll go once more to each side. We'll stay at each side a few breaths. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, left hand down, right arm up and over. Okay, stay soft. Bring your attention to the space within the body. Can you create a bit more through the breath? And now bring your attention to the space around the body. Nothing to do but to notice. Really attentive to how the body moves through that space. On inhale, come back up through the center. Exhale, bring the right hand down, stretch the left arm over. So again, soften here so you can tune into some of the subtleties. Bring your mind to the space within the body. Is it possible, because of the position we've placed the body in and the way that we're consciously relating with the breath, to create a little bit more space within? And now bring awareness to the space around the body. And just feel into, sense into your relationship with that space. Inhale, moving through space consciously, come back up through the center. Exhale, moving consciously, release the arms down, either resting the hands by your sides or on top of the knees or thighs. Enjoy a moment here. Gently take the head around in circles, bringing the right ear toward the right shoulder, and then the chin down toward the chest and lightly over to the other side. We'll work with semicircles first. So once the left ear is near the left shoulder, reverse directions. And as you continue to roll the head gently from side to side, start to bring a little bit more awareness into the space of the neck and throat. Notice if there's any unnecessary tension or clenching through the jaw, the throat. And see if you can invite space into those tight places. And after the left ear comes over toward the left shoulder one more time, bring the chin back down to the center. On an inhale, lift the crown of the head toward the ceiling. On an exhale, stick the tongue out and breathe out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Drop the chin slightly. Exhale through the mouth, tongue out, lift the chin. One more time. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale, just rest and notice. Let's come back to the hands and knees. Tuck the toes, preparing for downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, draw the hips up and back. Dynamically, inhale, lower the knees. And exhale again, downward facing dog. Use the next few rounds of down dog to create a little bit more spaciousness in the upper back and shoulders. Inhale, lower the knees. So not exactly an extension, leaning more toward back bend. Exhale, float the hips up and back. Let the heart sink a little bit more toward the thighs. Keep moving dynamically at your own pace a few more times. With the next exhale, find a proper downward facing dog. So really focusing on spinal extension rather than that subtle back bend for the upper spine. And use the extension to create more space in the spine. Relating to the spine less as the bone portion, more as the space between each of those bones. And imagining as though you're able to inflate those spaces a little bit more breath by breath. Very good. On the next inhale, let's lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze between the hands, and exhale, step lightly to the top of the mat. Bring the hands to the back sides of the thighs, bend the knees a little bit, roll the shoulders back, and inhale, lift halfway. Let the chin reach out in front of you slightly. Exhale, tuck the chin and fold over the legs. Same thing, inhale, slide the hands up to the backs of the thighs, lift halfway, reach the chin forward. Exhale, tuck the chin and fold. 2 more times. Stay in that forward fold for another breath or two. With the next inhale, rise, reach for the sky. Exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Inhale, Utkatasana, bend the knees, sweep the arms up by the ears, baby back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, step the left foot back, keep the heel lifted, setting up for Anjaneyasana, high crescent. Inhale, bend the back knee as you rise up. Exhale, straighten both legs, draw the arms down and a little back behind you. Inhale, rebend both knees, sweep the arms up. Exhale, straighten both legs, arms back and down. 2 more times. Inhale, lift the collarbones as the arms reach up. Exhale, straighten the legs, draw the arms down, and lengthen the back of the neck. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale back into that lunge. Exhale, stay, steady this posture. 1 more inhale. Exhale, release to plank. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin. Keep the head and the bum lifted. Inhale, pull through to cobra. Exhale, release down and back to child's pose. Stay for a breath or two in child's pose. Inhale back to the hands and knees, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, float the left heel straight up and back. Exhale, lunge the left foot through, setting up for high crescent lunge. Bend the back knee. Inhale, rise. Little bit of a back bend here. Both knees bent. Exhale, both legs straight. Arms sweep down and back. Inhale, bend both knees. Arms sweep up. Maybe lift the chin as well as the collarbones and sternum. Exhale, sweep the arms down. Lengthen the back of the neck. 2 more. Inhale back to your lunge. Exhale, stay, find your steadiness. One more in breath. Exhale, release to a forward fold, stepping the back foot forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, Tadasana. Give yourself a moment. Inhale back to Utkatasana. We've been joined by a little kitten. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Either that or finish shrink. Exhale, bend both knees, slide the right foot back for warrior one. Inhale, rise for your warrior. Good. On the exhale, swim the arms down and back behind you. Interlace the fingers. Roll the shoulders back. Draw the triceps together. Draw the inner thighs toward one another, stabilizing, trying to press through the pinky toe side of the right foot, really rooting into your left heel. Roll the sits bones a little further under you if you can, and then start to draw the triceps and the forearms a little further back. Either look straight ahead or up just a bit. Stay and breathe. Concentrate first on the space within the body. And then the space outside of the body. With the next inhale, release the arms, sweep them forward to come up. Exhale, release to plank. Inhale, hinge forward. On exhale, either knees, chest and chin or chaturanga. Inhale, either cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, either to child's pose first or directly to down dog. If you went directly to down dog, enjoy a couple more breaths here. With the next inhale, float the right heel directly up and back. Exhale, lunge the right foot through, setting up once again for warrior one. Inhale, rise. Exhale, swim the arms behind the back, interlace the fingers. Check in with your foundation first. Make sure you feel steady enough that you can cultivate a sense of ease in the posture, both in the body and in the breath, that will hopefully translate to ease in the mind as well. When you feel properly aligned, as properly as is available today, then start to draw the sits bones down, the forearms back. Maybe also delicately lift sternum, collarbones, and chin. Breathing with awareness on the inside of the body. And now breath with awareness of the space in which the body is held. With the next inhale, release the arms, let them float forward and up. Exhale, release to a forward fold, stepping the back foot to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come to your chair. Exhale, Tadasana. Breath here. Noticing the relationship between the space inside of you and the space outside of you in which you are eternally held. Soften into that space. Good. Root down with your right foot as your standing leg and draw your left thigh up and in for a moment. Find some steadiness here. Work with both the space inside the body and the space outside of the body to find this balance, this poise. And without overthinking, just bring your left heel back and take a hold of the wrist or the foot and reach the right arm up alongside the ear. Sink the sits bones a bit more toward the ground. Take another inhale to maximize the space in the spine. And on exhale, start to hinge forward, draw the belly up and in for some steadiness. And then use the inhales to create a little bit more expansion with each breath. Steady that expansion with each out breath. Stay with it. One more full breath here. On exhale, begin to soften and release back to Tadasana. Again, just notice. Perhaps there is a sense of merging, a merging of the space within with the space in which you're held. The breath passing through not only the nostrils or the lips, but every pore. The entire organ of the skin is breathing. And there is just space. Root down now through the left leg. It becomes your standing leg. Draw your right thigh up and in. Give yourself a moment to negotiate this relationship with space. Try to give up some of the resistance. And accept the support being offered. And again, without overthinking or complicating, just bring your right heel back. Take a hold of either the ankle, the foot. Reach the left arm up alongside the ear. Take another inhale to create maximum space in the spine. And on exhale, start to hinge into your Natarajasana. Now use each inhale to expand a little bit more. And each exhale to integrate that expansion, to steady it. One more full breath. And then melt back out. Moving consciously through space. Noticing how that experience feels. And again, perhaps there is a merging, a blending. Between the space within the skin and the space beyond. With the next inhale, let the arms sweep forward to come up. Exhale, melt slowly into a forward fold. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale and step back to plank. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, lower knees, chest, and chin. Hug the triceps in, lifting crown and tail. Pull the shoulder blades down the back. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, release. Bring the right cheek to the mat. Let the arms come alongside the body. Legs are completely relaxed. Just breathe. Left cheek to the mat. Bring the head back to center. Come into Sphinx for a moment. So stacking the shoulders over the elbows, rolling the shoulders back, pushing down through the forearms, hugging the forearms toward one another to help press the shoulder blades into the back of the rib cage, drawing the sternum a little bit further forward. We're going to come back to that breath that we did toward the beginning of the practice. Inhale to lower the chin slightly. Stick the tongue out with exhale and lift the crown of the head back toward the sky. Three more times. Bring the head back to neutral, breathing through the nostrils again. Imagine a very open pillar or column in the throat center. Vast and spacious. One more breath. Exhale, release, bringing the forehead to the mat. Enjoy a breath here in the neutral spine. Inhale, lift to the hands and knees. Exhale, slowly draw back toward child's pose, but don't go all the way. Just easing into this forward fold. Inhale, come back up to the hands and knees. Exhale and drop maybe a little bit further back, but really pay attention to your lower back. Ease into it. Inhale, rock back up. Exhale, slowly shift back. One or two more times, and when you're comfortable in your fuller expression of child's pose, go ahead and linger there. Slide the hands back toward your knees. Inhale, sit up on your heels. Exhale, rest here a moment. Go ahead and sit to the left side of your heels. We're just going to do a simple twist, nothing extravagant. Inhale to get a little bit taller. Exhale, start to rotate the torso away from the knees. So if your heels are off to the right side of you, you're going to rotate the sternum to the left. The right hand can come around to give you just a little extra support. Try to roll the shoulder blades back, triceps rolling open, just to create a little bit more expansion through the heart as you gently rotate. Start by looking over the back shoulder and then slowly rotate the chin forward. Bow the chin slightly and very gently lift the left cheek. It's a variation of a slightly more complicated twist, but still getting all the benefits. On the next inhale, let the head come back up to neutral alignment. Exhale, start to release that twist. Inhale to come back up onto the shins, neutral spine. Exhale, remain neutral for a few breaths. Again, conscious of the relationship between the space within and the space beyond. When you're ready, shift your hips off to the right, so the feet are to the left of your tush. Inhale, get a little bit taller. Exhale, start to rotate the sternum to the right. Left hand can support you. Roll the arms, so external rotation, rolling the triceps back. Bring the right hand behind you to the place where it's going to be the most supportive. Keep broadening across the collarbones, broadening through the shoulders, keeping the chest open. Start by looking over the back shoulder. And then when you're ready, with the neck still very long and spacious, bring the chin forward toward the front shoulder, left shoulder in this case. Bow the chin. And then very delicately lift the cheek. Keep pulling the shoulder blades down and in. Breathe here. One more breath. Inhale, bring the head back to neutral. Exhale, bring the entire body back to neutral. Inhaling back up onto the shins. Exhale, just hang out here for a few breaths. Noticing the current relationship with space. With spaciousness. And perhaps any impulse to fill that space with movement, with thought. For 3 more breaths, is it possible to just be in space? Roll the shoulders back gently, very gently. And forward. Give them a little bounce. Just try to release any tension being held there. Lengthen up through the neck and the spine. And just look over one shoulder at a time, nice and easy. Back and forth. Back to neutral. Lowering one ear at a time. Again, sensitive to the subtleties of the head moving through space. And then just a couple of easy circles. Mindful of the neck without dropping the head all the way back. Try to keep the cervical spine spacious. Switch directions when you're ready. Back to neutral. And then imagining that your head is just attached by one thin thread. Let the head bobble gently from side to side. And preparing to lie down. Bend the knees, scoot yourself toward the top of your mat. Drape your arms across the shins. Create one more little back bend here, just lifting through the collarbones and sternum. And on an exhale, roll yourself down. We'll keep the knees bent and just rest flat on the back, knees bent, feet on the ground. Adjust to this new relationship with space. Moving through bridge dynamically. Inhale, press into the feet, float the pelvis up, let the arms come alongside the ears. Exhale, roll back down. 3 more times. Find delight in the experience of the body moving through space and the way in which this movement and the breath serve as a connection between the space within the body and the space beyond. After the 4th repetition, again, just rest, feet on the ground, spine long. Create Garudasana arms with the right arm on top to begin with. And then just reach the fingertips out over the crown of the head with inhale. And the elbows in toward the sternum with exhale. Concentrating on creating a little bit more space through the back of the heart. Switch the wrapping of the arms and about 4 more breaths. Same thing. Release the arms. Let them come out to the side like goalpost or cactus arms. Bring the feet a little bit wider apart. Take an inhale here, and on the exhale, keep the right knee as it is. Lower your left knee toward your right heel or ankle. So both legs are internally rotating. Inhale, lift the left knee. Exhale, keep the left knee up, lower the right knee toward the left ankle or heel. Inhale, lift the right knee. Exhale, lower the left. Try to keep the sacrum flat on the ground. Inhale, lift the left knee. Exhale, lower the right. Inhale, lift the right knee. Exhale, lower the left, and stay for a few breaths. So once that left knee finds its optimal position, the right knee might also roll inward toward the midline of the mat, trying to keep the sacrum broad and relatively flat. Breathe here. With the next inhale, lift the left knee. Exhale, lower the right. Once the right knee has reached its optimal position, let the left knee also roll toward the midline of the mat in internal rotation through both thighs. Breathe. With the next inhale, lift the right knee. Exhale, just rest here a moment. And then draw both thighs in toward the belly. Place the hands on the knees or the shins, rock the knees away from you and back in toward you a few times. Rock from one side of the sacrum to the other, so gently shifting from side to side. Inhale, let the arms and the legs float up toward the sky. Exhale, lower them back down to the mat. Inhale, float them up. Exhale, float back down. Inhale, float up. Exhale, stay here in this position. Shoulder girdle and pelvis are heavy. Belly and limbs are soft. Breath is effortless. Awareness is absorbed in the space of the body. And the space in which the body is held. With the next exhale, melt into Shavasana. And again, maybe a variation of Shavasana in which the body takes up a little more space than usual. Three to five full breaths, inviting expansion into the belly, the chest, and the throat. And then softening into that expanded space. Transition to pure effortlessness. Relinquish any lingering sense of doing. I'll bring your awareness to a few spaces throughout the body. As you inhale with awareness in that space, feel the space expand beyond its current limitation. And as the body exhales, dissolve into that expanded space. So starting with the forehead, breathe into the space of the forehead, sensing it expanding beyond its current limitation. And with exhale, dissolve into that expanded space. The sides of the head. The jaws. neck and throat. Collarbones and shoulders. The arms from the shoulders all the way down to the wrists. The hands and fingers. The heart and chest. The upper back, the back space of the heart. The belly. Lower back, kidneys. Pelvis and sacrum. Thighs, knees, calves and shins. Ankles, feet and toes. The front side of the body. Back side of the body. The whole body. Rest now effortlessly, floating in space. Bring awareness back to the space in which the body is held. And begin to experience the outer boundary of the human form. Feel into the space in which the body is held. As well as the space held within the body. Begin to explore movement in that space. A little wiggle or waving of the fingers or toes. Stretching into the hands, the feet, rotating wrists and ankles. And maybe reaching outward with the arms and the legs. When you're ready, bend the knees, roll to one side, curl into a fetal position and rest for a few more breaths. In this fetal position, consciously resolve to leave some trace of limitation behind in Shavasana, allowing it to die. And in its place, a greater sense of expansion, spaciousness, freedom will arise. With that sense of spacious freedom, come on up to a comfortable seated position. And establish your healthy breathing. Draw awareness once again to that vast open column or pillar at the throat. Invite the throat to feel cavernous, void-like. Similar to what we were engaging with during the asana portion of practice, with inhale, let the chin delicately lower toward the chest. With exhale, stick the tongue out, breathe out through the mouth, lift the crown of the head. Inhale, lower. Exhale, tongue out. Inhale, lower, breathing in through the nostrils. With exhale, as you breathe out through the mouth, say hum. Inhale, lower the chin. Exhale, aspirated hum. Inhale, lower the chin. Three more times. With the next inhale, again lower the chin, but with exhale, come to a neutral spinal alignment and keep the lips sealed. Maintain that pillar-like, void-like sensation in the throat. Release all tension and holding in the space of the face, neck, shoulders, arms, and belly. And invite awareness to become thoroughly absorbed in space, rather than anything that may temporarily occupy that space. As long as you'd like in this meditative state. When you're ready to emerge, bring awareness back to the breath. Maybe yawn and stretch. Scrunch the face. Roll the shoulders, wiggle the head and the neck. Bring the hands together at the heart if you'd like. Conscious of spaciousness in the throat, once again bow the head. Rub the palms of the hands together. Place the palms over the eyes. Take a deep breath in. Lift the head and exhale. Let the eyes blink open. And move the hands away from the face. Come back into your space. Explore it now through the eyes and other senses. And a few reflection questions. You can stay as you are. I'll write these down for you and pop them into our WhatsApp chat, so you can come back to them there if you'd like to. What current limitations have you placed upon yourself and your ability to expand? What current limitations have you placed upon yourself and your ability to expand? Second question. What is your current relationship with space and spaciousness? Do you feel you have enough space? Do you feel contracted, constricted, confined? If so, if you can identify any specificities around that, do so. Is there anything which grants you a greater sense of spaciousness? And what is your comfort level with space, particularly empty space? Is there a part of you that rushes to fill the void with thought, with activity, with productivity, attachments, aversions, judgments? And final question's a little bit more esoteric. What, if anything, is the difference between the space within the body and the space in which the body is held?
I'll conclude the recording with that and then say my goodbyes.